Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts, Episode 3. So, last time we met Benson and Dave. Well, I think we'd kind of seen Dave already, but not really knowing who he was or anything. And they joined the crew. So now we have Kipo, Wolf, Benson, and Dave all together. However, there's much more that went on involving the frogs and everything. And we even got some little hints at some things to come with some possible main villains. Hard to say at this moment, but we'll see where it goes. We even got to meet what seemed to be the leader of the frogs specifically, who is working for someone else. I forget the name. I think it was like something like super ridiculously fancy, like Scarlemagne or something. But I don't remember for sure. But the big thing we found out is that the home Kipo was trying to get back to has been destroyed, the burrow. And no one is there, and there's no traces of anyone being there, meaning that they all escaped. So, Kipo's father and the other residents of the burrow, however many there happen to be, we don't know, they somehow got out of there, either before it was destroyed or right on time as it was being destroyed. So that's a good thing. But it leads me to wonder what exactly happened. There's a lot of questions that are raised here. And I'm still wondering, like, excuse me, I'm still wondering the details of what happened to cause this apocalypse in the first place. But I'm always going to wonder that just whenever you have an apocalyptic situation like this. So, that being said, though, we're just going to get this started, hope for the best, see what episode 3 has to offer. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, following the events of finding the destroyed burrow, our gang is attacked by the Lumbercats, a group of mutated cats that carry axes that are also guitars, which is a hilarious joke. It's always hilarious when they do that kind of thing. Adventure Time does it with Marceline, and I've always loved that. It's just great. So the Lumbercats are aggressive towards them and are trying to capture them and all. And they eventually do, because Kipo wants to make friends with them after finding out that they are after the same creature that they are. So they get captured, brought back to the village, I guess you would call it, of the Lumbercats. And there they find out that the leader of the Lumbercats is gone. He's up a tree because he ran up the tree, got stuck on top of the canopy, and hasn't come down since. So they've been like basically writing him off as gone, even though he's still alive, and they know he's still alive, just because no Lumbercat ever goes that high up. And Kipo's still trying to help. She even manages to help them wrangle in their pet flea, well, their leader's pet flea. Um, but they recapture them all, and this time they're planning on getting them to Scarlemagne. Scarlemagne is this name we heard pop up last episode, and is very clearly like the big bad. They're hyping up Scarlemagne to be the big bad of this series. I don't know who this character is. I don't know if they're connected to the same creature that um, possibly took the people of Kipo's burrow and destroyed it in the first place. But either way, it's really interesting and they're building it up well. Kipo and them manage to trick the cats again by promising pancakes, which Benson starts putting fur from one of the cats into so that the other cats all have hairballs. They escape, but Kipo goes back to save the leader, Yumian, and does. She saves him on top of the canopy, brings him down, and now they have an army. um, Plus, there was the part that showed the flashback of how this all started. We thought prior to this that Kipo had like jumped into the river herself, that it was her choice. At least that's how it seemed to be from my angle. But no, we find out here that she kind of just, or not like she actively jumped in, but like she was kind of on her own, just exploring, and she fell in that way. But either way, she was actively dropped in by her father, who was trying to save her once he realized something. He seemed to know about whoever was coming to get them. Like he actively seemed to know about this. So I'm wondering what is going on here and how far does this go? Excuse me. And also, like I mentioned in the reaction, I'm wondering why Kipo has purple skin when no one else in her burrow did. And I'm not trying to like just go super judgy or anything here about it. It's just, it does seem unique to her. Because I was thinking it was a burrow thing at first. That she had purple skin because she lived in a burrow and she wasn't getting sunlight or something, and it was kind of like a play on that idea. Um, but no, that wasn't it at all, which is what really surprised me, honestly. Um, Instead, it's like everyone down there just seems to have normal skin tones and all, normal skin colors. And so it's like, what's up with her then? And again, and like I said in the reaction, it's the only thing I can think of is it's got to be some kind of like chosen one thing, like she's special in some way. Um, I don't know, but but thinking about something as well here. Her father is black, so technically that would make Kipo black as well, right? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, if her father is her father biologically, then yes. Which I assume he is. I mean, I've seen no evidence to the contrary. So at this point, I kind of assume she is as well, and that's really awesome because it's like even with like super um progressive shows nowadays, they still a lot of times have their main character be white, like Shira, for example. Adora is the main character. Yeah, there's a lot of other notable major characters, some of whom are of color, but Adora is the main character, and she is white. And there are shows out there. There are cartoons with black leads. There's Craig of the Creek, for example, which I do still plan on checking out at some point. There are ones out there, but most of them do tend to have white leads. They just do. Um, but I like that we do, as time goes on, get more and more with black leads, with Asian leads, or so on and so forth. Because we need shows like that. We need to continue to get shows with leads of different races, different genders, different sexualities. Honestly, this is important. And I just, I'm glad to see when we do get that kind of thing. Because it needs to be more normalized to have a more diverse, like just to have more diversity with main characters in these kind of cartoons. Because for so long, it's only my phone went off. For so long, it's been only white main characters, and for a long time, like in like decades past, there was points where it was even like people of color were like token characters, even, and that's really fucked up. It's just I really like seeing this diversity. I love seeing diversity in cartoons in general, like with She-Ra, but I also like seeing the main characters have that diversity. So it's really cool um, to see that here. Um, and honestly, all of our main cast are of color. That means our main group, because Benson and Wolf are black as well, and I mean Dave's voice actor is black, so you could kind of, I guess, headcanon him as being so too, even though he's a bug. um, but it's like, yeah, that's really cool. I am wondering though, like, what is up with Kipo? Because there's got to be something. They're not just going to put that in there and reveal that no one else in her burrow has that skin color, unless there's a reason for it. There's got to be a reason. Um, and I guess maybe we'll find out as we go along. But I am very much enjoying this. When I first was thinking about checking out this series and everything, um, my thoughts were basically like, I don't know what I'm gonna think about this series. I don't know much of anything about it, and so I was thinking like, okay, I could end up really liking this, or I might end up just being kind of ambivalent on it. And luckily, it was the former. Luckily, I do really like this so far. Um, it hasn't really done anything I dislike, that I can think of at least. Um, and I'll end with this one last thought that just pops into my head. Um, I noticed something about Kipo's character too. It seems to be a common recurrence in each episode that she's struggling with the idea of kind of just doing things for her and her group alone. What I mean is, like in this episode, we saw when they had escaped and everything after the pancakes and hairballs and everything, they were laying down to go to sleep, and she was like, yeah, we don't need them to help us, and they don't need us. And you saw, obviously, she was not comfortable saying that. But that kind of thing has happened each time, it seems. And it's like, that seems to be a recurring thing. And I think that's because of Wolf and her ideologies on how to survive up on the surface and all. But I think it's kind of this thing about Kipo has been raised in a way where she's always been raised to be selfless. to help out others no matter what it would cost herself. So, this idea on the surface of helping yourself before others and not being able to necessarily trust others, it's hard for her to even understand, to even reconcile with. And so that's why she goes so hard in trying to help others and trying to make friends with everyone. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. In this case with the Lumbercats, it very much worked out because they now have an army. They have an army behind them to help them on their journey. So, yeah, you have to acknowledge that there is exactly that kind of view on it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And that's how it goes with that entire kind of ideology with choosing whether to help out yourself or help others above yourself. Sometimes helping others is the right thing to do and you should do it, but sometimes it's the wrong thing to do and it'll just cause more damage. It'll just hurt more than it helps. And it's really, really hard to differentiate between those situations. And so it's like, I feel like there's a kind of wisdom in the idea of trying to learn about that. And I'm hoping that they go through with that with Kipo, because sometimes, again, sometimes you do just need to help yourself and your team and not worry about trying to make friends with everyone, because sometimes that can just be dangerous. I mean, look, just them doing it here almost got them sent to Scarlemagne. They were lucky that they managed to make friends with the cats. that Kipo managed to make friends with the cats, to be fair. So, yeah, I feel like that might be a little bit of a lesson that comes into play at some point. That's at some point it's going to go really wrong. That at some point it's going to go really bad, and Kipo's going to have to learn that sometimes you just can't do that. But either way, tell me your thoughts on this episode of Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.